defensively to seem like he was everywhere all the time. Was there something particularly special about his effort tonight?
Well, Draymond was doing what Draymond's been doing for 13 years, for whatever, how many years he's been in this league. He's the best defensive player I've ever seen in my life. He was everywhere. He was guarding everyone. He just has a way of helping every single teammate by being in the right spot and thwarting different advantages that the opponent has. And he makes our defense go. He makes the game much easier for all of the other guys.
Hamstrings are particularly tricky to play through. Are you kind of operating under the assumption, game planning under the assumption over the next 24 hours that he probably won't be out there game two?
Yeah. We're definitely game planning for him to not be available on Thursday, but we don't know yet. Yeah. But with a hamstring, it's hard to imagine that he would play Thursday.
What's kind of I mean, I know it's early and you'll have a day to really think about it, but as you reset the series without him, how do you find enough scoring?
We have to talk about that. We're going to give the players the day off tomorrow. Nothing, no film. They need a day. These games have been every other day. We're flying all the way across the country. Our guys are tired and they need a rest. They need the day. So the coaches will meet tomorrow and we'll figure out our plan for Thursday.
They missed their first 15 three-pointers, finished at 17%. What was the game plan? What was the keys to limiting them from the arc? Well, we did a great job early of keeping them from getting many good looks. I mean, I thought their first 7 or 8 threes were tough threes. I'll watch the tape. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like our defense was responsible for the early threes. And sometimes, when you don't get open looks early as a team, you start to force things a little bit. And then when you do have an open one, you're not in rhythm. So I thought they had several really good looks late second quarter, mid second quarter. But we had done a good job taking them out of rhythm. We held them to 11 points in that second quarter. And so we established a really good defensive posture and mindset. And that was enough to really, swing the game. And we were able to hold them off in the second half.
Was the plan coming in to go 12 deep, just coming off of Sunday? Was that an adjustment with Steph going out?
No, that was an adjustment with Steph's injury, and we were completely winging it in the second half.
And then what did you think of just Pat and J.K. Looney?
Awesome. Every single guy who came off the bench contributed. I never really look at the stats after a playoff game. I just think about how guys competed. And I thought every guy who came off the bench, whether it was Moses or Guy, Loon, QP, Quentin was a plus 14 in 6 minutes, didn't take a shot, but he battled, and we were in a good run there with him. J.K. To come off the bench and play some important minutes when he hasn't been in the rotation, that was important. And we've seen Pat. He's a gamer. We know that. And those minutes were big. And if Steph doesn't go, Pat will definitely get more time Thursday.
Steve, you've talked about what a different dimension your offense has with Jimmy. And with Steph out, I would imagine that accentuates that. It looked like you went through Jimmy almost every possession.
Yeah.
How much, maybe it's obvious, but to have Jimmy when Steph goes down, how much does that change the dynamic?
It's massive. The game settles down. I mean, you could see the last, 6-8 minutes, all we were doing was high ball screens for Jimmy. And we were even willing to take shot clock violations at that point. It was all about protecting the ball. And Jimmy is, I think, as good as anybody, any star in the league at reading the game, understanding how to control the tempo, control the, time and score, understanding everything that's happening, and putting the ball in his hands in a situation like that is pretty comforting.
Jimmy also had 6 offensive rebounds, 2 steals in the first half. How crucial are those little details, especially going against Gobert and Randall?
Incredible anticipation, and I think that's one of the things that separates great players is the anticipation of what's happening at all times, both ends of the floor. Jimmy's got that sense.
Steve, you obviously are always going to err on the side of caution when it comes to Steph, especially with a hamstring. But how much does this win afford you to be a little extra careful?
I don't know that it affords me anything. I just listen to Rick Celebrini, and whatever Rick says goes. And he's the expert, and he's got an amazing feel for these guys. And I'm sure we'll get an update tomorrow. And whatever Rick says, that's what we're doing.
Because of how gutsy this one was, where would you say this kind of ranks for you personally of, winning without Steph and some of the wins you've gone through?
13th. Sorry.
You joke pregame about Buddy being your defensive stopper, but you do put him on Edwards to start this game.
Yeah.
Was that a statement of any kind, or just let's see what happens when we put Buddy on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's based on what our options are, and two-way basketball. Can we get enough scoring at one end and enough defense at the other to make the game make sense? And Buddy makes the most sense. The way he's playing defensively, the way he's shooting the ball, it was a no-brainer to start Buddy.
Obviously, it's a long time ago, but Steph missed a bunch of playoff games in 2016 and 2018, and you guys survived. Yeah. Any lessons? What do you when you think about those games?
Yeah.
What do you take from that, or what does it matter at all?
Well, I think the difference at that time we had an all-time NBA roster. So. Those days we were well equipped to handle, the loss of Steph. When you can bring Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala into the game to back up or take Steph's minutes, you're in pretty good shape. But there is a lesson. I mean, you have to understand what it takes to win a game without your best player. And tonight was a good indication of that. Draymond and Loon and Jimmy led the way just with the leadership on the sidelines, talking to the guys, recognizing if you battle for every loose ball, every rebound. I mean, we got 18 offensive rebounds. We out-rebounded them 51-41. Their guys are all 6 inches taller than all of our guys, so it's about the intensity, the heart, the fight. And if you do that and you give yourself a chance, then you just find ways to score. We made 18 threes. And like I said, we had a lot of guys make big shots. Draymond, 4 threes in the first half. Gary made that huge 3 late to kind of stem the tide. So it's about defending, taking care of the ball, and just finding ways to score.
All right. Raymond is ready.
Thank you.
All right, great.